So much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other? You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord?
There in my heart there was a kind of fighting. It would not let me sleep. I thought I lay worse than the mutants in the bilboes, rashly, and praise it be rashless for us. Let us know. Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall. That should teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them. Had my desire, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears forgetting manners to unseal their grand commission. Where I found Horatio, royal knavery, an exact command. Lauded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health and England's too, with such bugs and goblins in my life that on the supervised no leisure bated, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
It's possible.
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, ere I could make a prologue to my brains, they had begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it, as our status do a baseness to write fair, and labored much how to forget the learning. But, sir, now, it did me yeoman's service. Wilt thou now know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, my good lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should stiff her wheaten garland wear, and stand a comma tween their amities, and many such like ases of great charge, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further more or less, he should the bearers put to death, no shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal, folded the writ up in form of the other, subscribed it, gave it the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell insensate points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, think'st thee, stand me now upon, he that hath killed my king, and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cousinage? Is it not the perfect conscience? Quit him with this arm, and is not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business here.
It will be short. The interim is mine, and a man's life's no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors. But sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace! Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Ah, thy state is more the gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land and fertile. Let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a chaff, but, as I say, spacious in his possession of dirt.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head.
Thank you, lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet, methinks, it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry, as 'twere I cannot tell how. But, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Nay, good my lord, for mine ease and good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes. Believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak freely of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you, though I know to divide him inventorially would dizzy the arithmetic of memory, and yet, but you're neither in respect of his quick sale, but in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, and his infusion of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him his semblable as his mere, and who else would trace him his umbrage? Nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
The concernancy, sir. Why do we wrap the gentleman on our more rawer breath?
Sir?
Is it not possible to understand in another tongue? You'll do it, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All's golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
I know you are not ignorant.
Oh, I would you did, sir. Yet in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is.
Oh, I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them in his meed, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but, well.
The king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle, hangers, and so. 3 of the carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilts, most delicate carriages, and a very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
I knew you must be edified by the margent ere you had done.
The carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more German to the matter, sir, if we could carry cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then, but on 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, there are signs, and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this imponed, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Oh, if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, 'tis the breathing time of the day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I redeliver you e'en so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours. He does well to commend it to himself. There are no tongues else for his turn.
This lapwing runs away with the shell on his head.
He did comply with his dog before he sucked it. Thus says he, and many more of the same bevy that I know the dressy age dotes on, only got the tune of the time and outward habit of encounter, a kind of yesty collection, which carries them through and through the most fond and winnowed opinions, and do but blow them to their trial. The bubbles are out.
My lord, his majesty commanded me to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attended him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure holds to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
I am constant to my purpose. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready, now or whensoever, provided I be able to do so as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. But it is no matter.
Nay, my good lord, if you
It is but foolery. It is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say, you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man has aught of what he leaves. What is to leave betimes.